Mike Yanguas. Well, what a true honor and a privilege to have you on the Joy of Paddle. You were born and raised in the city, a beautiful city of Malaga, a city I know so well. And you've been playing paddle since the age of 7. In your own words, how would you like to describe yourself, Mike?
Well, as a player, a little bit different as a person. I think I have a lot of sometimes, well, different type of characters. In the court, you have different type of characters when you get angry or where you are happy. But
Yeah.
I think, in out of paddle, I describe myself as a very natural guy.
Uh-huh.
I'm very very normal. I'm very familiar and that likes a lot to be at home,
Yeah.
chilling. So.
Nice.
I describe myself as a very simple guy with that likes to do simple things.
It is funny, this idea that we can have two characters, because there's the tension of the game, the competitiveness.
Exactly.
Of course, you have your partner, and you're a very public figure when it comes to this. And then presumably what you're talking about is also the desire to have privacy and have time for yourself and with your close friends.
Exactly. Totally right. I think there are two different things, and you need to know how to separate both. Because if not, if you try to be the same, maybe it doesn't work.
Well, in any event, if paddle consumes your private life, then that's a trouble for the mental health and other things like that. So let's just talk about how you got into paddle at the age of 7, and what made you become a paddle player as opposed to a footballer or tennis player. Because when you're young like that, usually there are lots of little influences on you. Talk us through how you got into paddle.
Well, when my father met my mother, he started playing padel in Marbella, and he really liked it. So when I was born, he was like when I was 2 to 3 years old, he was starting to develop paddle and liking it a lot. Yeah. So when I was around the age of 6 7, he started playing with me. 8 started like coaching a little bit, but for fun. And yeah, during that time I was playing football and paddle. But I like in that moment I liked more football. But when I was 12, 12, I decided to change to paddle only, and to get a little bit more serious, no, with it. So well, that was it. Training me every year, improving in the tournaments, in the juniors, and that was my way.
Well, you do live in the country where there's so many more tournaments, and the development of players allows for younger players to come through, learn. When did you get your first coach?
Well, my coach was my father
Hmm.
during all these years until I was 17, that I went to Madrid to try to make the step. But my father was my coach during all these years. So I think my biggest development was with him as
Hmm.
a player.
And when was your first pro win? When talk us through when you got your first pro win.
My first pro win was, well, I remember my first World Padel Tour was in Madrid, in a club that doesn't exist now. That was called, well, in San Sebastián de los Reyes, it was called Sunset. And then my first pro win was in the second tournament, when we got the chance to pass one round in a challenger. Yeah, that was how everything started. Traveling a lot around all of Spain, playing challengers, playing first rounds of qualies in the big WPT that you could enter, because it's difficult to enter to tournaments, and that was the way. And roller coaster.
Yes, it is. One of the biggest roller coaster elements of it, Mike, for me from the outside, knowing a few of the players though, is choosing your partner. How do you go about choosing your partner? They obviously it's almost like divorce and marriage.
Well, first of all, you need to be lucky, because when you choose your partner wants needs to like you also, and choose you, because it's a mutual pickup, how you say. So yeah, I think you have to be lucky. You have to have a good connection inside and also outside, no? Because I think you have to share lots of things in the day to day with your partner, and you need to have a good connection. And I think then when you choose or you start playing, you need to, well, make good results.
Yeah, because it's one thing to like each other, and hey, you're a great guy, enjoy you. it's another thing to be complementary on
Exactly.
on the
I
pitch and
think,
on the and how do you gauge that? That must be such a subtle, nuanced thing to be able to do.
well, you need to try to concentrate on yourself. If you're very focused on your partner, there, then the situation is not gonna be good. I think both have to do their part well, take care of themselves, be professional, and then in the court, be complementary. I think Juan Martin and Bela are the best example. So well, I think that's the key, to succeed in a partnership in padel.
Well, that's a great insight, Mike. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
What about playing right? When did that happen? I mean, let's say you and I were playing. I would make you play left because
Maybe because of the height, not because of the level.
well, at both, I'm afraid. Let's
Well,
say I'm smaller, having met you, and slower, not as strong. But how did you decide to become a right hand player?
when I was 15, I had an injury that is very common in football players. It's called a pubalgia. It's a little bit of in the hip. You have like one leg a little bit taller than the other. So
Mm,
and when I tried in the right side movements, my hip and my abductor was suffering much less, and I could play very good when I was in the top of the injury. So I decided to change, and then I assumed in the months that my level was higher in that in
mm.
that uh, in that position, and I was playing really well. So I decided to be a right hand player from one day to another because I talked with my father and we went to the idea that there are not so many right-handed players that were tall. So it was like a generational change in that little junior competition, not in the change that, for example, LeBron made because he went to the drive when he was three in the world. I went to the drive when right hand plays when I was finishing juniors, starting like under 16. So yeah, I think it was a very very intelligent change for my part.
Huh. So since I get to play right most of the time, I'm trying to play with better players and more younger, faster, and so I'm playing on the right. And yet it's a so they call it the drive position. It's also typically the central nervous system, the smart play trying to control. And yet you are playing with a guy called Bela. How does that go down? What's it like to play with the legend himself?
Well, saying it easy, it's a day by day learning experience. No, you need to just sit down and listen, and then you learn. It's very easy to learn with him. He makes things very simple. Just work hard, take care of yourself, be professional. That's it. And then, well, when I watch him, I learn a lot of things. He's very, very uh, constant. He doesn't lose time with silly things. He goes very focused to the work, and that's because of his success on his 44 years.
Mm,
It's
impressive, eh?
yeah, incredible.
And congratulations on having a win with him this year. You made that happen in where was that? It was I know in one of the World Padel Tour tournaments you won.
No, but
In the,
with Momo.
oh, it was with Momo. Is that right?
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
we won the tournament with Momo, and
Oh,
then
nice.
we changed.
Yeah, I see. And so playing on the right, I wanted to just dig in on that. How do you see playing on the right has changed over the years? For me, it seems like it's a fast evolving position.
Yeah, well, it has changed from being the right players from being more defensive and more constant, making the work for the point to finish from the backhand side, now to be the ones that can smash, finish points, more aggressive. In one word, I will say aggressive change of the game.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that happening, and it feels like it's very gives value to the right hand side somehow even more. There was always this notion of being the person who controls, sets up the left, and now the variety of shots. It's not as necessary to hit just cross court. You're driving at the person in front of you, and yet it's for example, when I was talking with another friend, a pro, how the vibora, for example, is somewhat easier when you're in the backhand position because it's a little bit more natural split shot. Whereas when you are on the right, the vibora is a more difficult shot, I think. What do you think?
Well, I think it's the position of the feet. For me personally, is more easier in the right hand because I trained a lot, and I think you need to give a little bit more the back to the ball. I think that's the success of the vibora when you put a little bit more your back to the ball and then you twist the body at the end. But I think. Well, in my opinion, I like a lot the vibra on the right hand, so I can't say that the backhand is more difficult, but I think it's a shot that now talking a little bit what we were saying before, it has a very revolutionary change in the right hand side. You can smash, you cross court to win different shots. If you see paddle before, it was another world. You can smash from out down the line and bring it up. I think it's a total change. Now padel is much more aggressive and much more dynamic. No, before it was much more tactical, I think. And then you have like guys that do things that change every tactic. So
That's
like the
true.
so what I think you need to play with now both surprising things and tactical.
Yeah. It is fast evolving, and you're right that what I see from my perspective is the amount. For example, you're on the right, you might cross over to the left at the net,
Exactly. It's
pick off
much
the
more
ball.
much more dynamic, I would say.
Yeah, and so how would you do? What's your favorite shot? Do you have a favorite shot?
I can have I can have three. I think I would say the Vibora, the drop shot, the backhand drop shot volley, and I could say uh, now it's getting more. I'm getting more favor my the smash. I think I'm
Mm.
improving a little bit better, so I can mention it on the top three.
Yeah, I love it. And when you hit a drop shot, is it some, I mean, because I play a lot, and sometimes the pace is fast, you're rushing around. Do you sometimes premeditate the drop shot in your mind, or is it something that you just invent as it comes?
Yeah, well, you invent as it comes, and you have to be very relaxed to do it. When you're in a match, very tension, it's not gonna go. If you're with a lot of confidence and very relaxed with the wrist, you can do 10 a match. But if not, I have played matches where I'm quite tension and it's much more difficult to do the shot.
Yeah, and especially when you got over your shoulder a guy saying, Mike.
Exactly. Careful,
Right?
golden point.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of golden points, the recent this is being recorded just a few days after the announcement of the merger between Premier and World
Yeah.
Padel Tour. First of all, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's gonna be a very important change for paddle, for players, for brands, for paddle world generally. I think we don't need to forget about World Padel Tour because they did a great job these 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They took paddle to the next level, so we need to say very big thanks to them. But now talking about Premier, I think they're gonna do the necessary change that paddle needs. No, I don't know if it's good saying it, but we have to be more similar to tennis in lots of ways. This needs to get much more professional. So I think with Premier, they understand a little bit how everything works. In tournaments, we are going to play in emblematic places, Roland Garros, maybe soon. Well, no, Roland Garros, we play in Rome, Acapulco, Doha. It's unbelievable. Milan, I think.
Flushing Meadow.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna play in places that are incredible. So Egypt. So we need to know that that's something unbelievable for paddle. Only 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, who would have thought? The boy from Malaga, right?
Yeah.
Traveling the
So
world.
it's a mix from Malaga and Granada, because
Oh,
right now
Granada.
we call. I was born in Malaga. We have a house in Marbella, but I have we have a house where I have been raised. It's in Motril. It's like in the beach of Granada.
Oh, of course, the beautiful town, La Alhambra
Yeah,
of
very
Granada.
close, very close. No, but well, yes. So I think it's gonna be a very very great positive impact for everyone that surrounds paddle world. I think even podcast, everything's gonna go, boom.
Yep.
So I think
I
let's go.
expect I'm thinking the same. The joy of the paddle on the front lines with you
Yeah,
guys.
it's gonna be excellent.
So one of the things that's of intrigue, I spoke to Juanjo, our mutual friend, Gutierrez, about this. Golden point or deuce?
I think douche. I like more douche.
And is that going to be the future?
Yeah,
Well, all right. And
I
why do you
think,
prefer deuce? Why do you prefer deuce versus the golden point?
in my opinion, is more realistic. If you're playing better than your opponent, um, you have much more percentage to win. That if you're
Yeah,
playing worse, maybe you have lucky 1 point. I think percentages in sport are very important, and with juice, an advantage is it's much more accurate
yeah,
when you see that a couple is playing better than the other to win. I think it's more much fair.
yeah. So I mean, I look at squash, for example. When you're at squash and you're at when back in the old days, let's say when we used to play up to 15 in America, you had a choice of having 3 points or 5 points. So
Exactly.
if you're a better team, then you choose five. If you're a less good team, you chose three to try to get the lucky shot, the lucky bounce, the one that
Exactly,
hits the
yeah.
net or something like that. A little earlier, I was talking about Flushing Meadow. I'm a damn Yank, as they say, and America. Have you had any time to think about the Pro Paddle League in America? Is that something that's on your radar or not at all?
Pro Padel Liga. I saw lots of things. I think it's a success. They're doing very great things. I think that if paddle touches America the right way, it's gonna be much better than pickleball. But
Oh,
because
amen. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
in my opinion, yes, because it's you can't compare. I mean, with all respect, I think it's a much more dynamic. You play paddle and you play pickleball, and I think pickleball is nice, but in paddle you have much more variance, much more different things.
It's a
I
real
mean,
sport.
yeah, well, I don't say if it's a real or not, but I think that the how paddle works in America can fit very very good, and also it's starting to go in a very incredible way.
Well,
So,
I just before this one goes live, I've already had a fun conversation and recording with Marcos del Pilar, the commissioner of the Pro Paddle League in America.
okay,
So this is something that I'm trying to promote as well. Because if America gets hold of this, it's going to open up all sorts of avenues for you, the pros, I think.
I think also yeah, but I think it's gonna be incredible actually. Of course, I want to try also pickleball. I never tried it, but for paddle, I think it's gonna be explosive, and also I know some the players of other sports that are very big that they are choosing paddle. So I think it's gonna be awesome.
Let's do it. So I wanted to ask you about your play as well. There's one of the things that's really intriguing for me in terms of learning about paddle tennis is when things aren't going well. You were talking about before having tension in your wrist and not maybe you don't have the sensations, la sensación. How do you go about adjusting for that when you're in this moment like, oh damn, I missed that shot, should have made it. That's an easy shot. How do you adjust in mid flow? What are the processes that you use, Mike?
Well, I think that when everything goes good, you need to not try to change. I'm very meticulous with the things. So when I'm doing something right, I try to do the same. But if I can tell you about my game, I try to play. Well, before the game, I say to myself, okay, you're gonna do everything you can to win. Playing very very relaxed. So if you do it and you lose, you're with the your inside. It's good because you did everything that you could to win. So that's my game. I play very relaxed, try to do my best shots every time, and play aggressive. So I think that's the key.
And what about when you're not doing so well, where oh shoot, you're relaxed, but your shots aren't executing like you'd wish. How do you is it a conversation with Bela? Is it a conversation with you or the coach? How do you I mean, because we all have these days when we're not quite as good as yesterday, or we want
Everyone.
to play better.
Yeah, well, you need to try to first of all, you need to try to make sure that you understand what's going wrong. Maybe you have a bad day, and then as you are playing doubles, have a good connection with your partner and tell, okay, I'm not very comfortable today with this, so play so that the ball doesn't come to me this way. And it's a mutual thing to help each other to try to get that hole close the easiest way as possible. No, so I think that's the key of Bela this year. No,
Yeah.
and I think that's the key to play good.
Yeah, I think if I take away from you, Mike, the idea is that you need to identify it and then you need to communicate about it. Listen, partner, I'm not feeling quite as strong or confident in this shot.
You need to have the confidence with your partner to tell him that, and that's the first point. Then continue and try to get better and better during the game, because it's not the in a match. I think you don't come back from being very bad playing or then very good. You compete. I think the success is when you play bad. How do you do in that 30, 40 minutes in the game to still be in the game alive? No, I think that's the
Yeah.
key of sport. When you are not in a good day, how do you do to play the most intelligent as possible to still be there with chances?
So one of the things that I am deeply impressed with in your game, Mike, is your footwork. You have unbelievable footwork. That's what I think. I don't know if you agree or your coach would agree, but I think you have probably the most exceptional footwork of in the pro league.
Well, thank you. I didn't know, I didn't know that, but well, I will make sure to take a look about my footwork.
Yeah,
To see.
yeah.
But I think, yeah, imagine if you're playing against monsters like LeBron Galan or Koyo Tapia, they are playing excellent. At least your footwork have to be the best as possible, no? But I think I have a long way also to travel yet with that, because I think I need to one of the best and the most things I need to improve my physical game. So well, I'm working on that.
Get that snap for the big smash. What about a shot that you're trying to improve? What would how is there something in your arsenal that you're trying to get better?
Everything. I'm trying to get better defense, the attack, the change of shots when you have the ball. I think I'm trying to get everything better. No, I think you need to be very complete to try and compete every single game. No, because everything is very difficult. So I think that if you get very very good at everything or the best possible, is the real success.
All right. Getting to the last questions here, Mike, with you. One of them is about rackets. So
Okay.
you play with a Varlion racket, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Choosing a racket, back in my day, like you can see in the photograph in the back, we had one racket to choose from. The choice has gotten so much bigger. And how do you choose your racket? I mean, obviously there's a sponsorship component to it. So you have to be with a family of rackets, and then there's within the family which racket to choose. How much time do you spend thinking about choosing and changing rackets?
Well, at the beginning of the year, you have the possibility to, together with your brand, um, see what racket suits you the best to play on to compete to the maximum level. Then you have in my case, I don't know the rest of the players. I play with the same racket as you sell. But well, it's true that before getting this racket to the market, we discuss little things that I have a preference on playing. And then after that, we decide to build a racket that helped me and also amateur players, depending on the level, the most amount of players to play comfortable with the racket. So I think uh, is a very good racket. For example, in my opinion, the Barlin one, but I think also it's for players that are not professional.
All right, so because it's available for retail. So if
Exactly.
someone wanted to get your Valiant racket, what sort of player should they be to be able to slip into it? A Mike Yanguas, a smaller Mike Yanguas?
Well, I think no, but I think that they are. You need to have a little advanced level. I mean, you need to have a clear knowledge of the game. I don't recommend it to players that are just starting to play and get my racket, but I think you have to do. Well, you have the possibility to get the winter racket in for example, where do you live?
I live in
Winter?
London.
In
London.
London, for example, in London, it's a little bit maybe uh, colder than in, let's say, Malaga. In winter, maybe with the winter racket, you are more comfortable than with the summer edition. For example, when I come to Malaga, I need to play all the year with the summer edition because normally you have 20 degrees the whole year. So that's the difference, no? And I think you have the possibilities, but yeah, I would say that with an advanced level is better, a little bit advanced.
Well, I know the guy Fran who is the importer of Varlion in England. So
I know I met him the other day in Madrid. Very nice guy,
Francisco.
very young.
Hola. Oh yeah, he's a lovely young man. I played with him just last week.
That's
Um,
good.
so listen, Mike, this is the joy of paddle podcast. What is the funniest moment that you've ever thought? What comes to mind if you think about a funny moment on a paddle court?
Well, this year we have with Bela, we're having lots of funny times. And he's very funny. So I don't know if I can tell all of them, but yeah, when I see sometimes we laugh about the we get the I say that he has a very big head. He tells me I have very big nose, so I get all the breath from him. No, we're all the time having fun, so it's very funny. But if I can tell you an anecdote, I don't remember now a very funny one. But also with Miguel Lamperti, you can have like 30,000. I have a very big, very funny one that I remember now with Miguel in Sweden. When you go to bed in the how do you say the thing that you get in the bed
The sheets, las
the sheets,
sábanas. Yeah.
the sauna, the sheets, they're different. The Swedish people they do it like squares. So when you go to sleep, if you don't put the sheets well, they your legs get out and you're very cold. So Miguelito at 4 in the morning he was screaming, "What was this?" That he was getting a cold, and at 4 in the morning you can imagine it was very funny. But
Well, Lamperti is a funny guy.
you need to try to to bring him. You will have a fun.
I certainly will try. That's a great idea. And when you're talking on the court, that's interesting. There's the communications during the point, but then there's the communications between points,
Yeah,
and presumably sometimes it's good to bring a little levity in the middle of the keep you relaxed between points.
yeah. I think it's you mean communication, no, between the. I think it's sometimes when you finish the point, go to your partner and talk about the next point. I think it's very useful, no, because maybe it relax mentally. So and you know exactly what the other things to start the next point. So I think it's an advantage.
All right, Miguel, last question. Mike, what is your ambition? What's the future hold for Mike Yanguas?
Of course, everyone wants to be the number one, but my ambition is that if one day I finish my career successfully and I think I'm in the way, but long way to go also. I would like to everyone to remember me as a good guy. That's my ambition, and as a guy that worked hard for his dream. Then if he success and if he because success is very in interrogation. You don't know what success, but when I finish my career, my idea is to everyone to tell or to remember that I was a guy that worked hard and a good guy. Nothing more.
Those are good values, Mike.
Good values, yeah.
Muchísimas gracias. It was a
Thank you,
total
Alonso.
pleasure, Mike. Good luck with everything. I'll be following it. I hope to see you in Paris.
Ah, if you are coming to Paris, we see each other. You
You
will come,
betcha.
no?
I am. I booked. I'm the semifinals and the finals. So you better keep playing, sir.
We will try. We will try. Thank you. Thank you so
Vamos.
much, sir.
Thank you,
See
Mike.
you. See you very soon. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye.